Yanetrita Shetasen Nukheka Nubraku Nupara Nukheka Nukheka Discover Natarian philosophy through music, through video lectures, and through books by Sabai Dr. Muata Ashby. Peace be with you. It's not wise, that's not true. Right? So then he says, yes, I agree. And all the people that, wow, how can he agree with some lie like that? How can a king be greater than God? He says, yes, it's true. The king is greater than God. That's wise. And that's just like, how can you say that? So then he says, well, he's more powerful than God, because if he doesn't like somebody, he can have them kicked out of his kingdom. But God is all-encompassing. God cannot kick anybody out of God. And so too the gods and goddesses. In the teaching of the eternal resurrection, the gods and goddesses at one point were vacillating about whether Heru should have the rulership over Kemet and really the world. And so they sent a letter to Asar, who had been killed, and he was the king now in the netherworld, said, what should we do about this? They were vacillating. So Asar wrote them a letter. I'm the king of the netherworld. And all of you gods and goddesses, let's talk to the lesser ones now, you're going to have to come to me one day. Even you are going to die. You may have a long life, longer than human beings, but you have to come back to me one day also. And if you don't do what is righteous, I'm going to unleash certain demons on you that will make you miserable. And you will suffer greatly. So this tells us that the gods and goddesses don't have independent existence for the Supreme. And this is the misconception of Western culture that says we have created many independent gods and goddesses who are doing their own thing and control their life. And no, it's nothing like that at all. They are always under the control of the Supreme.
One of the other, there's a proverb that actually talks about another way of understanding the gods and goddesses. There's actually a proverb that talks about, I'm not moving, that talks about the how hard it is to leave the things that meet your gaze in every side because they have physical form. And how the divine does not really have physical form in the sense, even though we say everything is divine, really we don't. When you look at someone else, when you look at someone, you're seeing the camera, you're seeing that. So, and you pass by Burger King if you're still eating meat, and you smell the smells, and you see the bird, and everything is drawing you. The shopping, the supermarkets or the malls are drawing you because your eyes are seeing them, and it's constant stimulation. You're always drawn to the physical form. And so the gods and goddesses in form are a way to combat that. That's the way that the sages actually said, how can we work with what's already there, with the mind, the way the mind works, the way that goes always outward. And so let's make everything divine. So as you practice the Shetaut Netter through the gods and goddesses, the system of gods and goddesses, you actually are starting to work from where you are. Because you already want to think of everything divine, but that's not the way your mind is constructed. That's not the way it's been conditioned. This lifetime, every lifetime, through the time. So now you're going through back a process of unconditioning the mind. And you have to take it through back the steps now. So now everything is divine. Okay, why don't we start making everything the divine? So you do the worship. Say you do the posture system. Or you study the divinities. The Gab is the earth. When you go out there, how many times of the day, in the whole course of a day, do you normally, you walk in the earth and you think, I'm walking in Gab, I'm walking in the earth, I'm walking in divinity. You're walking in earth, you're walking, oh, there's mud, oh, there's muck, oh, there's a pothole. You're thinking this pothole is divine? No, stupid pothole. You're not thinking about anything about God when you're thinking about that. As you start to think about how the earth is Gab, You walk outside, every step you're feeling like you're in touch with it. You see the tree, you remember Asar, you remember the jet pillar of Asar, how Asar came up through the tree. So now the tree becomes divine. You see the sky, that's Goddess Nut. Now it starts to pour rain. You're not complaining about the rain because, oh, Tefnut is blessing me, the goddess moisture is here upon me, like, you accept it. The sun is shining, it's not too hot, oh, Ra, it's glorious in the sky. Starts to work through your own personality, through your own mind, to start releasing you from this process of conditioning to this world. You start to, it becomes divine to you, and you start to release the form of the chair and the this and the that, all the different forms, and everything becomes divine. So you're moving back to that process of the oneness of the Supreme Being, the oneness of everything in that way as well. It can be understood as like even in the form of pictures. You have different pictures, say, of your mom. You have a picture of your mom at the beach in a bathing suit. You have a picture of your mom in her business, attire, and she's at her office working. Maybe she's a doctor and she has her stethoscope around her neck. You have a picture of the mom when she's mom and she has around her kids having fun. And somebody wants to know about the personality of your mom. If you just show them the picture of the business suit when she's all, strict, and they think, oh, this is the only image of your mom. They're going to think your mom is this way. She's only a doctor. But now if you show them a picture of her with the family, now they know, oh, she loves kids too, and look at a smile on her face, and they see a whole other aspect of her personality. You show her a picture of the beach. Oh, she likes her. And now the understanding of who this mom person is continuing to expand. And all the divinities, the divine is so all-encompassing that it's difficult for the mind to grasp that. So you start to lead it slowly to that. You start to show it a different personality, a different aspect of the divine through the goddess Aset and the wisdom. And so the mind starts to understand that part of it now. And each personality, each divinity, Asar as the soul, Set as the ego, is leading you to that understanding of oneness. It's a way that the sages of ancient times have devised to break down the condition of the mind and lead you to that ultimate understanding of oneness.
So, Mark, can I say something on that there? Trying to make it simple, my understanding is these gods and goddesses, I think people look at them as being external of themselves. But these gods and goddesses exist within you. Take, for example, Aset. She's the embodiment or the principle of wisdom. And you apply wisdom to yourself, or using it as an understanding to get back to the Asar, which is your soul. Heru in this aspect represents spiritual aspiration. Heru resides within you. So I think when people see the gods and goddesses, they think of, although some of them may come in mythological times, but you have to understand they reside within you. Heru in terms of representing spiritual aspiration, righteousness, in his fight against Set, which is your ego. People look at Set as probably Satan or outside of them, but Set represents your ego. So in looking at the gods and goddesses, trying to make it simple, they're all aspects of yourself. And this is what you have to go through in terms of climbing that tree of life, in respect of the Union theology, and get into the top, which is Ra, which is your higher self. I don't know if you grab anything by that.
I was going to say the whole aspect of the earth also related to what he said. I was going to mention the Anunian theology. There's a whole series of tapes that was done, a lecture series that goes through the different gods and goddesses of the Anunian theology, and it goes up through it in a way of a tree of life, starting with the lowest, moving through to the highest. And that would also be good for some of your questions for you to get that series, because I think it would answer a lot of it. Because even though I said Geb is the physical earth, as you go through the series, it becomes more, the teaching about Geb becomes more subtle to discover the Geb within yourself. And that's given in that series as well.
I remember one time I was having issues with my father trying to express the teachings to him. And I was asking Sebimad on how to communicate that to him. Because I was telling him about all these gods and goddesses. So he told me to tell my father, in Christianity you have angels. In the Hindu system, the Jewish system, you have gods and goddesses. You have God, the Father, the angels, and Adam and Eve. You have, Nebuchadnezzar, all these gods and goddesses, and you have us as human beings. So they have their so-called deities, which are, angels are deities, but so are the gods and goddesses. But the angels are still dependent on so-called God the Father, Father, Mother, God, just like the Netaru, the gods and goddesses are dependent on Nebuchadnezzar, the one all-consuming supreme being. So that's the easiest way for me to relate to it.
Yes, those explanations were pretty good. That was my next thing to say, that not only are they examples of philosophical cosmic principles, but they're actually metaphors for aspects of the personality. Remember that we talked about the Sayu set and the Inch set, as well as the Mantian character is your own righteous order within you. Aset here is your wisdom aspect, Jehuti being your intellect. And these are principles that run through the cosmos, but they're also ways for you to assist you in understanding aspects of your own personality that you need to master. So the symbolism, the iconography is an extremely important part of Shetaut that cannot be overlooked. And many people, in trying to wash away the scourge of religion from the world, right, which I understand greatly, because religion has caused a lot of strife, a lot of problems, or the supposed practice of religion, because I only consider religions that lead to war and strife and human degradation, that's not practice of religion. What I think is what we're talking about here is practice of religion. And any other religion that does what we're talking about here, I would consider it as an authentic form of religion. And that's supposed to be kept in mind also.
I saw it as knowing the unknown or the unseen by what is here for us to see, because we understand this. You have to start where a person is before you can build them up to something that they don't understand. And I think you said something like the two wisdoms of Nabi or something like that?
Yes, the two truths.
The two truths.
The truth of the practical and the truth of the mundane and the truth of the transcendental.
Right.
That's what.
Same.
They're
So
reflections.
Yeah.
And you can think of it as like the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the neteru that come from neter are the smoke. And the neter is the fire. So if you look for the smoke, you'll be led to the fire. And that is the idea behind it. So these divinities were never, and the Hindu divinities also, the worship is very similar. They're never regarded as separate, independent realities outside of the Supreme Being. They're regarded as metaphors for understanding the Supreme Being and for understanding self, which are both one and the same.
It's like a woman having a baby. She hasn't given away any of herself.
Exactly.
Or a teardrop. You know, that's you, but it's not separate from you.
Exactly.
That's a good analogy. Okay? We'll go ahead and break there, and then we can meet in a few minutes for the practice of the introduction to meditation. A bunch of enlightened people all over. They would have read all the books, and it would have been so simple. Without purity of heart, nothing is possible. You can have all the knowledge that you want. You can fill all your head with and memorize all the scriptures, and you're still going to be as degraded as anyone else, if your heart is not pure. And the devotion helps you to purify the heart. And it allows you to feel the teaching, and not just think about it. So we're going to have a brief, it's not going to be as long as on Friday night, it's going to be a brief devotional session. And then we will conclude with the instruction and meditation, and then we'll have the offering, which is a wonderfully, looks like prepared offering to the divine. So we'll begin by sitting in a comfortable posture, allowing your abdomen to expand as you breathe in, allowing your abdomen to contract in toward the spine as you breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And we're going to begin in a chant, and then you're going to respond. That's called a response system. Om Amurapta.
Om Amurapta.
Om Amurapta.
Om Amurapta.
Om Amurapta.
Om Amurapta.
Asara Seteru.
Om 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 Ati Makeru.
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 Duara, Duara, Duara Kepara.
Duara, Duara, Duara Kepra.
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 out an instrument, they start clapping. Dua heteru nedrita. Dua